Hey guys, I know I haven't made a video in quite a little bit of time. I know I've been slowing down content. I had a lot more easier time when school wasn't open, but my school has unfortunately decided on the crazy method of online school for the first couple weeks. I can go over why I don't like it. I've been marked absent. It's bad. I can't go into it at the moment. So instead, I decided to do a video. I know I haven't done a what if video in a long time. I think my last one was Wolf Deku was a Saiyan, and I was looking. I was just chilling, and I got a notification, and someone pitched me the idea of what if Deku had all for one. Now I typically would think I can't do this, but then I thought that would be interesting. I'm gonna do different things, so minor spoiler for the manga. If you haven't read the manga, or if you're like me and you just don't care, then spoiler, get out of here if you care about spoilers. But in the manga, similar to the ending of season 4, where Zuko has a dream and sees the previous one for all users, Shigaraki does the same thing. But instead of seeing the previous one for all users, he sees the previous all for one users, as he's given all for one by Dr. Garaki, Uchiko, Michiko, Tsuchiko, weird doctor that looks like Dr. Eggman, but without proper goggles. I hate him. He's annoying. He looks dumb. But he gives Shigaraki all for one, and he tells him that he can sell all one for all. I'm gonna do something different, and Izuku's gonna have a version of all for one. He can steal quirks, give them to other people, and can use them himself. But, and this is a huge but, he can see all for one, his brother, and the previous one for all users, and can talk to them. So he could go up to someone like Nana Shimura and have a conversation with her. So, how would Izuku get all for one? Originally, I thought, well, maybe Dr. Uchiko, maybe all for one passed it down, like the copy version. But then I think, yeah, I'll just go with the simple route. So, Izuku will be related to all for one. Whether it be he is his nephew, so, I have two options. Option 1, Izuku is all for one's nephew, meaning that he is a descendant of the first one for all user. Option 2, he is all for one's son. I'm going to go with option 1, kind of. Until we know if all for one is Deku's dad, which, now that I think about it, it's probably highly unlikely now that I kind of think about it. And I kind of don't want it to happen at this point, because Toy Todoroki, I'm hashtag Toy Todoroki for life, is Dabi. I will hashtag that until the end of my days. Sorry, but how will we do this? Well, Izuku would be born with all for one, and Dr. Uchiko would know this, and would tell his mother he has a quirk that allows him to steal quirks. To give away quirks. Izuku one day accidentally steals a quirk from an ongoing passerby. This quirk is just a weak quirk, allowing him to just slow-mo time. And his perception of time, and other people's perception of time. Basically, it looks like slow motion. Izuku tells his mom about this, and his mom gets worried, as one of her ancestors did have the ability to manipulate, to steal quirks like that. It would have been Izuku's great uncle, I assume is what you would call him. I don't know family, I don't understand this job. Izuku would go on, and he would tell Bakugo this, and Bakugo would ridicule him. One day, Izuku would accidentally steal Bakugo's quirk and would access it. Bakugo would ridicule him before he would Izuku would give it back to him. He would apologize, and Bakugo would call him a villain. Izuku would still be nicknamed Deku, and time would go on. He would be going through hardships at school. But in this timeline, when the Sludge One attacks, that will all be the same. Everything from Bakugo and All Might offering one for all is the same. But in this timeline, Izuku tells All Might when he meets him that he's not quirkless. Instead, All Might, when Izuku and him are talking at the end of the second episode, I honestly forget at this point. When All Might's like, you too can become a hero, boy. All Might, Izuku will tell him that he's not quirkless and will reveal his quirk. All Might believes that he's somehow related to All For One, and he's actually surprised to learn he is. He is his nephew. Or at least until we know that Izuku is his All For One son. Then I'll retcon it. Time would go on, and Izuku would go train. All Might would bring Mirio to God, as Night Eye would have predicted the future and see in this timeline All Might's gruesome death, but Izuku would he would see a green-haired boy. He would tell All Might this. All Might, he would assume that this is the next One For All user. And he also thinks maybe he should train Bakugo, because both could make great heroes. Izuku meets Mirio, and Bakugo one day is walking past him. Seeing him cleaning up the beach, Bakugo would attack Izuku before All Might jumps in. All Might would reveal a small Might form, and Bakugo would try to help out with the beach, and would train with Izuku. Once they clean up the beach, since there's 3 people, Deku is... All Might explains his quirk to him, and lies to him saying that his quirk is passable. He doesn't tell him the secret of One For All, though. He pulls out a piece of his hair and gives it to Izuku, and Izuku touches it and sees the previous One For All users. His uncle, or father, I don't know, whichever one is confirmed, and Nana Shimura. Nana grabs him by the neck. "You killed me!" Before Shigeru Daigoro, aka Lariat, the Black Whip user, I believe he's the fifth user. He's the 5th user of One For All, and the 1st user. The 1st user grabs Nana by the shoulder, puts his hand on her shoulder, and she tells him, this is All For One, before he reveals this is his descendant. This is not All For One. This surprises her, as something happens. There's no quirks, there's no air cannon, there's no airwalk, there's no quirks that none of them are familiar with. He has the slow-mo time quirk, and a weak villain laser quirk that he got. I got these quirk ideas from We Celestials, What If Deku's Dad Was All For One, or Deku's Dad Is All For One. I kind of thought, I wouldn't mind using these. So Zuko does gain another quirk. He gained a laser quirk that is similar to 9. So it's basically like the quirk that 9 had. Minor spoiler for Heroes Rising. By the way, great movie. Honda Sarah was the best character in it, along with Cosmo. Basically, the laser quirk that he has is basically like Iron Man's Repulse Blast, but from the finger, like his fingernails. Izuku will have the same thing. Izuku would talk to Nana, and the previous One For All used to be okay with him having One For All, but Izuku declines it. He had a dream as a kid, but he had just seen the previous One For All users, and saw the history of All For One and One For All. Izuku, who gets up after falling asleep on the beach, as Izuku explains what happened, All Might offers it to Bakugo, who accepts it, not wanting to make All Might, lose his quirk. Mirio declines as he wants to reach the top with his own quirk, and gives it to Bakugo, and Bakugo and Izuku become good friends. Time would go on, and the UA Android's name would arrive. Everything would be the same. Bakugo would blow up the robots, but in this time, Izuku would take down robots with a slow-mo quirk, breaking them down pieces of the robot and shooting lasers. When he sees Uraka, he saves her with a laser blast. And after saving her, Izuku gets her out of the rubble. The first day at UA, Izuku throws the ball and slows down time, trying to figure out a way to, figure out how he's going to throw it. Before Aizawa tells him, if you want to stay in UA, you better throw the ball now. Izuku would tell him sorry before using his laser quirk to throwing it, and then using his laser quirk to boost it up. Aizawa would be impressed, and Mineta would be expelled. Or Hagakure. Who cares? We're going to say the worst boy. I hate Mineta. I think everyone can agree on that. He is the worst character. One of the worst characters. I wouldn't care. Toru Hagakure doesn't do anything, so I'm okay with her being in UA. Mineta is just annoying as hell, so we're going to replace him with Hitoshi Shinso. Hitoshi would be welcomed to Class 1A and would be trained by Aizawa. Izuku would when his and Bakugo's fight occurs, Bakugo would attack Izuku with breaking through the walls and would access One For All in his fingers, flicking at him. Izuku would use the laser quirk and the two would fight. The fight would be very similar, but in this timeline, Bakugo would hit him with One For All, 5%, before Izuku hits him with laser blasts, heating up in his fingers and unleashing them, hitting Bakugo. That's when Izuku reveals another quirk. At this point, I would say Izuku has like 4 quirks. 2 more I haven't revealed. A regen quirk, which it's more like a hyper regen. It's not really like regeneration like Cosmos or the Nomus. It's more like his regeneration is more faster than a normal human being. So for like someone like anyone, it's more like Spider-Man. He can heal faster than a normal human being, or Captain America. So Izuku would then also have a minor strength enhancing quirk. as he had taken this from a pro hero who was basically acting like a villain. Izuku does do some good with taking quirks, and he would beat Bakugo, though, dodging an explosion and grabbing one of his grenades and throwing them at him before knocking him out. Izuku would then grab Ida in a headlock before Ida would kick him and Uraka would touch the bomb, winning. Bakugo would be impressed. The next day they would go to the USJ. Really quickly, Deku's hero costume is the same. It's still wrecked. It's still his mom made it. It still looks like a teenager made it. His mom made it. Time would go on, and the USJ attack would occur. Deku would fight some of the villains. But in this timeline, he would see the gnome, and while fighting him, he would take the regeneration quirk, and giving him the hyper gen quirk, and would then take another quirk, the strength quirk, replacing it with his minor strength enhancement quirk. While fighting another villain attacks, this villain has the ability to stockpile pain and turn to power. This villain attacks and wasn't too far from where Bakugo and Kirishima were. This villain attacks Izuku, and Izuku grabs him, taking his quirk, before he realizes that he needs stockpile pain. That's when the Nomu goes to him, grabbing him by the neck and slamming him down, beating him down, before Izuku uses his power. He points out that it's clearly bad, but it's decent. It's a decent power. Todoroki gets confused. Seems like Midori has multiple quirks. Is he like him? All Might arrives and beats out Nomu, with Izuku telling All Might to move as Bakugo screams, "Die!" Unleashing a one-for-all explosion. A one-for-all mixed with his explosion quirk. And Izuku, with the last bit of damage he has, flicks his finger. All Might would be impressed with the two boys, and everything would be the same, with Bakugo injuring himself, as he basically went plus ultra. Izuku, the only people that know about his technical quirk is most of the teachers, so Aizawa, Recovery Girl, Nezu, All Might, and Recovery Girl. The people that know about his quirk is Bakugo. That's it. That's the only student that knows about his quirk. Izuku would talk to Bakugo, and he would then explain that he got another quirk, similar to Wonderful, but instead of stockpiling power and unleashing it, he can only stockpile pain and turn it to power. All Might's impressed, and the two talk for a little bit, and Izuku goes home. When he arrives home, he goes to sleep. While sleeping, he has a dream and sees the previous Wonderful users talking to him. They tell him that they're glad that he at least that he declined Wonderful, but they would have been okay if he had accepted it. He sees Bakugo. Bakugo and him are missed, but Izuku can actually talk compared to Bakugo. The two talk and they see the origin of All for One and One for All. But that's when All for One says, "Well, I see you've inherited my quirk. You're just like me, Izuku. There's no way of hiding it. You remind me a lot of my brother." Izuku would wake up screaming. As he would look at his hand, and Bakugo would wake up. He would see his hand glowing. I guess we would have to find out what happens in part 2. I just want to say thank you guys. I want to thank the person that came up with this idea. I don't like the concept of Deku having All for One, but I kind of think, well, good guy All for One works. I kind of wish I had the superpowers. So, if you guys want part 2, I rely on views. If you guys give me 1 view, then boom, I will do a sequel. That's how I do it. I don't test by likes. I test by views. If I get 1 view, then I'll continue it. If I get 0 views, okay, I'll do a part 2 anyways. I enjoyed writing this. Sorry if videos do slow down a lot more. It's been hard for school, so like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Good